Welcome to this special VIP webinar. My name's James. I'm the Operations Director here at Your Personal Training, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Ellie today on the call, who's our Regional PT Manager for London. So what we're going to cover today is a little bit about Ellie's story in the health and fitness world, but also about recent successes around the bikini competition that Ellie has entered into. So first and foremost, welcome Ellie to the call. It's great to have you.
Hi.
Do you want to start off just by giving us a little bit about your background, yourself, and what you're doing in current times with Your Personal Training?
So yeah, at the moment, my role with the Your Personal Training is I'm support manager for other personal trainers in west of London.
Yeah.
And it's such a rewarding job, I have to say. Like to help others, it's been just like amazing. Like this is all my life. I'm trying to help to make someone's life better. So this is like a cherry on the cake now. And I also do still at personal training myself at the gym. And yeah, and then the sides, I do the competitions from time to time in the bodybuilding in the bikini category. And yeah.
Fantastic. That's amazing. That's a great insight. And once again, congratulations on your recent success with your impressive achievements. So in terms of kind of the Masters bikini competition, Ellie, we're going to talk a little bit about that now, if we can. So just talk us through your training journey, because this is a big discipline, yeah? So talk us through your training journey leading up to the competition that you've recently participated in.
Okay. So when I was in the high school, I always been participating in some sports. So I was athlete, I was doing sprints and long and high jumps. But then at certain age, I kind of stopped growing. And for this sport in specific, you need to be tall. You need to have long legs, unfortunately. And there was a point when I stopped. So my coach, thank you to him, he was so nice and he took me to the gym and he showed me the weights. And initially in there, I fall in love with the gym.
Okay.
And so I started training in the gym since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I always wanted to compete, especially when I was 18, 19. At that time, those bodies looked amazing, the abs and everything. And so that was like 20 years ago. And when I talked to the coach in the gym, I said, I want to compete. And they brought me the diet with chicken, rice, eggs, and cottage cheese. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. So I postponed my goal for a very, very long time. There was some moments when I tried to get back into the training for the competitions, but the diet was for me the hardest part.
Yeah.
And during lockdowns, when everything was closed, I don't know, I said to myself, like, if I'm not gonna do now, then when? And and I started preparing. I found another coach for myself, because in this sport, you cannot be your own coach.
Yeah.
You cannot see yourself with your eyes, because you always see something to work on and someone else sees your way clearer. So and I started to prepare for the first competition, and without the gym, without any equipment, I just had some bands and a little bit of weights.
Okay.
And I started doing it in the car park, in the garage.
I love that.
That year I went to Lithuania.
Yeah.
And I took second place. And I was like beyond excited, like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I kind of hooked up, and now I do at least once a year. I even been European Championships twice in Spain, and yeah, now I'm started to compete here in UK. I want to be first now here. So
Absolutely. That's amazing. Well, you're off to a great start, Ellie. And I love that, the fact that you've started your journey with little equipment, not even a gym. You
yeah,
started just from home to develop this. And I think you made a really valid point there. The bodybuilding fitness competition world has evolved massively over the last 20 years.
oh,
So, I come from a background of, watching and admiring the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day and Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler and people like this. So it's amazing to see how this has really transcended over the years. But for you personally, what do you think the main differences are in the female categories these days compared to 20 years ago?
um, well, now these days there's way more categories
Yeah.
which you can choose to compete in, and there's this for me. I prefer the female body to still maintain the feminine side, to not go overdo with the muscle building and stuff like that. So in these days, there are two, maybe even three categories that you can still keep the feminine side
Okay.
and do not build too much muscle. Like bikini. Bikini, you shouldn't be very, very ripped. You still have to have a little bit of softness
Yeah.
compared to like physiques and stuff like that.
Fantastic.
So I think this evolved a lot, those different categories.
Yeah, absolutely. You've certainly seen that, and from a kind of an observer perspective, I've never ever been as far as competing in this spectrum, but you've certainly seen the development over the years, which I think has been really positive as well. Bringing it back to more of a health kind of approach, I think is really important. But obviously, Ellie, this is a huge commitment. For you run a business, you run a family, you've got lots of things going on. How do you manage to balance everything from a work and a home commitment perspective when you compete in?
That's a good question. um, it, for me, I am very disciplined.
Okay.
If I set up myself a goal, I'm all or nothing. If I do something, I do 100%. If I don't, then I don't. And to achieve any goal for me, I need to plan my day by hours.
Yeah.
Then I know where I have time to do cardio, to do my weight training, to do posing, when I have time to prepare my meals. And that helps me to stay on track.
Okay.
Sometimes, of course, like before, like when it's few weeks left to the competition, your energy level is quite low. So you have to cut sometimes, ask help from someone else, like your spouse, like, can you cook for me? Or can you do some, house responsibilities for me because I'm a little bit tired, don't have energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it comes, but with the help and discipline, everything's possible.
Absolutely. So what I've taken from that is that you dedicate your time as you would a PT client. So it's as
Yeah,
important as your professional in your professional environment as a PT. You would be on time every time for those clients, and you
yeah,
train and you have your nutrition on time every
yeah.
time as well. So that level of commitment is remarkable. So it's fantastic. But I mean, in your perspective and experience, then Ellie, has this had any impact on your professional or personal life as you've been through the sort of competition phase?
Yeah, I always try to set an example for my clients that
Yeah,
everything is possible when you set your mind, to what you want to achieve.
yeah,
And it's just to show that sometimes, people say, oh, I don't have time, I have kids, I have that. Well, me too.
I love it. Yeah,
I find the time. I will wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning if I have
yeah,
to have enough time to do everything I have to do.
absolutely. Yeah,
So for me, it's just to show that, you can do it. If you really, really want, you
yeah,
can do it.
yeah. That's amazing. and really inspiring. I'm sure your clients all take a lot of inspiration from your endeavors.
Yeah,
And I think that's the key point, isn't it? Because your aspirations are relevant to you as an individual. And I guess you try to sort of emphasize that point to your clients to show them that they're on their own personal journey and their
yeah.
Everest might not be the same as your Everest. So how do you kind of work that into setting targets for your clients, Ellie, with your personal training?
So usually we set up together. They tell me what they want to achieve, and we try just to talk how realistically it's possible to achieve the goal in the time they want to.
Yeah,
Sometimes, it's impossible what they want. You cannot lose 10 kilos in like a month. So you have to set up your goals. And what I noticed, the most work is done when we set up those little small goals
yeah,
to achieve. Because if you set up yourself a massive goal to achieve, but you don't do those little goals in between to go to the top of the mountain, it's really difficult
okay,
because you can actually see how much you already done.
yeah, that's very true.
And yeah, and those little steps, those are the most important.
Yeah,
Just do one day at a time.
yeah,
Today I was clean, I did everything, thank you, and move on to the next day. And
yeah,
that one day is a big achievement. And after a week, 2 weeks, you see how much you can move.
yeah,
And this with the clients, it always works.
yeah,
Always works.
absolutely. Yeah. And I think having that transparency is key as well, isn't it? Showing them that, listen, I'm competing at this level, but I still have bad days. I have good days, I have bad days, like
Yeah.
everyone else. Um, so that really comes home. So that's amazing. Um, and then the final few questions, Ellie. The fitness industry is constantly evolving. So it'll be interesting from a PT perspective and a competition perspective. How do you keep up to date with latest fitness trends and latest sort of maybe research or nutrition articles that sort of help you get the extra 1% and 2% out of your performance?
Well, first of all, now I'm so happy about this your academy that your PT has,
Yeah.
because the amount of courses and information in there, it's like unbelievable.
Okay.
Before this, I used to go and research and pick up, and sometimes when you find information on Google, it's not always the truth.
Agree. Yeah.
You have to be kind of smart and find out what is true, what is not.
Yeah.
When now all these courses there, and I know it's been reviewed by you guys, so it's 100% works, 100% true. So it made my life so much easier.
Brilliant. That's really pleasing to hear because you're totally right. I think, we can often be excused for being a bit confused and a bit complacent because there's so
Yeah,
much information and so many ways that we can gather information these days as well. So absolutely, as part of your academy, we pride ourselves on making sure that it's to the point and it's
yeah,
relevant. So it really, really good to hear that you've benefited from that, Ellie.
and
Um,
especially nutrition side. Oof.
Absolutely, 100%. It's massively important as a fitness professional to understand nutrition. And I guess lastly, I mean, this webinar will be viewed by various different people. Some might be looking to join the fitness industry. Um, what advice would you give as a seasoned fitness professional, someone who's been around for a while, has built a very successful business and has developed into management? What advice would you give to someone starting in the fitness industry, Ellie?
Um, do not be shy. You know already, you have a very good knowledge about who you are, how you approach people. So don't be shy and just do what your heart says you to do, and just be yourself. Don't pretend to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or someone else. Be you, because we are so unique and everyone's niches are very, very different.
Yeah,
And when you are showing your true colors, people connect to you. And once they connect, they will follow everything you ask them to do, and they will achieve results, and you'll be happy and you will feel rewarded just because the client achieved something. And people talk.
They do.
So treat people the way you want to be treated yourself.
I love that. That's amazing. And I mean, to be you or be more you is actually our company marketing campaign for this year as well. So be
Oh,
more you. It's on the back of the shirt. I couldn't have said it better myself, Ellie. That's fantastic. And for those watching this, none of this has been scripted, so it's all good. But listen, I'm super grateful for your time. Again, massive congratulations on your recent success, and excited to hear about more successes in the future as well.
Absolutely. I'll be the first one.
Best of luck. Thanks again, Ellie.